review and tutorial on the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This palette has been so hyped up for months, and it was just recently restocked at Sephora. So when I saw it, I thought I would pick it up and really see if it is worth that hype. There's obviously a peach trend going on right now with Kylie Cosmetics coming out with a palette. I mean, she kind of started that whole peachy look with that one Instagram post, and now she's coming out with her own peach palette. Peachy eyeshadows, I find personally, are actually hard to find unless you're just going to buy one single shade, but it's kind of nice that you get a different range of complementary colors in one palette you can create an actual peachy look with. As for the packaging, obviously Too Faced did a really good job. They're always known for that. When you take it out of the box, it has the same shape as their chocolate bar palettes and the same material, but I think the ombre is pretty cool. It kind of gives the idea that you're going to get different peachy tones within this. So when you open it up, obviously I'm pulled towards candied peach, summer yum, puree, just peachy. You get a mix of matte and shimmer in there. I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't use the purples or the green shade, but after this short little review that I'm giving, I will insert a tutorial that I did using this palette. And the shade Candied Peach looks like it has fine glitters in it right now, but I actually did buff it out in my crease, and it kind of just goes away. You don't notice it, and it's actually a gorgeous color. It's kind of the perfect shade for my skin tone. The thing with peachy shades is that sometimes they can be too orange and it just isn't that flattering for a day-to-day look. Personally, the look that I did, I would wear this out. I would for sure wear this to work. I don't think it's too intense on the eye. I think it actually looks really soft, but it definitely gives that peachy look. I do have blue eyes, so I personally like these kind of tones. Anything that is warm toned, I obviously am pulled towards. I've seen so many weird reviews on this. People love it, and some people really, really hate it. I did try to use as many shades as I could to kind of get a true idea of it. And overall, from my first impression, I am really, really happy with this palette, and I would 100% continue using this. As for the scent, it definitely smells like peaches, but it's artificial. There's definitely products at Bath & Body Works that are supposed to have a peachy scent that smell way better than this, but it's not too intense that I'm turned off from using it. I don't smell it once it's actually on my face, so that definitely would not stop me from using this palette. One thing that I also am really impressed with is the more glittery shades. I wouldn't call them glittery, they're more of like a foiled shadow. That was actually really pretty. I used Luscious and Nectar. So Luscious is on my lid, and then Nectar is my brow bone and inner corner highlight. With me, for brow bone or inner corner highlights, they're usually not intense enough because I am pale and they just don't, for some reason, show up in my inner corner. But I thought this gave a really pretty glow, and it wasn't chunky. There was no chunky glitter in it. It just kind of gave a nice actual glow to it. Overall, I for sure am going to continue using this, and I could really see myself using this on the regular. So that was my little first impression and review on this palette, and if you are interested in seeing a tutorial on this look, then just continue on watching.
I'm so sorry. I did not realize how scary I look with lipstick on and no eyeshadow or no eyelashes. Like, I apologize. So the first shade I'm going to go into is White Peach. And White Peach is just going to go all over my lid to set the concealer and set the primer that I put on. I use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. The next shade I'm going to go into is called Peaches and Cream. Basically, this shade doesn't have a ton of color to it. It really is what its name describes. It is a peach, but it has a lot more of a cream undertone, so it really just going to give a nice base for the more peachy tones that I'm going to go in with, so it will blend out a lot more easily. The next shade I'm going into is called Georgia, and this is like a very, very, very pale, soft pastel pink. It might not be, no, I think I'd call it pastel. Now this one does have a little bit more of color to it, and I'm really just building up the colors so that it's going to blend out nicely, but I also really just wanted to use as many colors as I could in the palette to really get an idea of how the palette works overall. I'm now heading into the shade Candied Peach. Now, Candied Peach looks like, if you look very, very closely, it has very small sparkles to it, but once you actually put it into your crease, they're not noticeable. It buffs out into a really nice peach. I'd say this has a little bit more of a kind of a neon undertone, but it's still really soft on the eye, and this is really the color that I purposely bought the palette for, just because I thought it was so pretty. This shade was definitely more of an intense color than the two previous shades I went in with, and it blended out so easily. I love when shadows really don't have to have a lot of work put into them. Basically, they blend out for themselves, and Candied Peach is definitely one of those shades. To add some definition, I'm going to go into this shade Summer Yum. So this kind of reminds me of a yam. Kind of like the color of a yam, basically. Like a sweet potato, but a little deeper. I don't actually know, but it is a super pretty shade. I am so drawn to these warm tones, but it really tied in nicely with Candied Peach, and it deepened it. Didn't look too intense. Once again, it still kind of has this gentle look on the eye, but it still is a little bit different than just a basic neutral look. So I don't know. I am very happy with this palette. Deep in the outer corner, I'm going into the shade Charmed, I'm sure. This is just a really nice neutral brown. It's not anything crazy, not anything too intense. For my lid shade, I'm going into the shade Luscious. This has a little bit of a peach undertone to it. I'd say it's more neutral, a little bit more of a champagne, but I don't know. It's kind of a unique color, and it does look really pretty on my lid. I just went ahead and lined my waterline with the NYX Wonder Pencil. For my bottom lash line, I'm going to follow the same order that I did for my lid. I'm going to start by going in with Georgia. Then I go in with Candied Peach, a bit of Summer Yum, and then just a bit of Charmed, I'm sure, in the very outer corner. To highlight my brow bone and inner corner, I'm going into the shade Nectar, which I thought was so pretty. For my falsies, I'm going to go in with my Huda Beauty Samantha No. 7 lashes. So this is the finished look. If you did like this video, I would love if you could like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, I quickly just wanted to point out that if you do like my videos, you can turn on my notifications by just following the steps that I'm showing on the screen. I am really appreciative if you do enjoy my videos, so you know, if you want to help me get more views, then I would love if you could follow those steps.